Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please remain standing. We'd like to, first of all, welcome you to the 44th annual installation right here at the Polish American Citizens Club. The 44th annual award ceremony, which will be honoring the Citizen of the Year. And before we do present our evening, let's please remain standing. I'm going to ask Mrs. Helen Schubza-Curtin to come up here and say grace.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, we are gathered in God's presence and our families and friends to celebrate with and to honor the Citizen of the Year, Mr. Edward Szela, and the installation of elected officers who are committed and dedicated to serve in this, our Polish American Citizen Club of Ludlow, Massachusetts. We support them in prayer and ask God to bless them and all of our members, families, and friends as we begin this special celebration. Bless those who prepare this meal and the food which we are about to partake. Amen. Let us take a moment and bow our heads and remember those who are no longer with us. And our most recent loss, Mr. Larry Chesky, polka band leader and Hall of Famer, who passed away this past week, January 25th. Finally, bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive through Christ our Lord. Amen. Smacznego, bon appetit, a salute, God bless. Thank you.
Please remain standing, ladies and gentlemen. As we together, let's together sing the National Anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. We're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the lost bursting in, being proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now the Polish National Anthem.
Jeszcze Polska nie zginęła, póki my żyjemy. Co na postać się używa, na było bierzemy. Aż nas do Polski, ziemi włoskiej do Polski, za pojęcie wodem, zwróci się z narodem. Aż nas do Polski, ziemi włoskiej do Polski, za pojęcie wodem, zwróci się z narodem.
We want to thank the band. We want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. I want to take this opportunity once again. We want to say welcome here to the 44th annual installation right here at the Polish American Citizens Club. Dinner will be served shortly. We say smacznego, enjoy your dinner, and the program will soon begin. Thank you. Alrighty, we're getting prepared right now. We'd like to start our program. So We'll give you about 60 seconds to get through these. Say, folks, before we get on to our program, how about a hand for the catering staff, full of catering? How about that? And the waitresses, thank you very much. The waitresses and certainly the folks that we cannot see that I do know is cooking back there in the kitchen. And along with that, I'd like to thank Ricky and Sue, our bartenders back there. How about a hand for them? I think wherever we go, we always compare the bar staff to Rick and Sue. I see Rick laughing back there, but it's the truth. And Sue, thank you for that. Distinguished and honored guests, scholarship award recipients, PACC President, officers, directors, and members of the Polish American Citizens Club, and ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce myself once again. My name is Lenny Robbins, and it's indeed an honor for me to have been asked to serve as MC Toastmaster here this evening. This is my 5th year being up here behind the podium, and it sure is nice to be with all these people, with all of you. I appreciate your company. I thank you for supporting the club and for all the Polish traditions. And more so, it certainly is a pleasure for me to stand in the shoes of the late Paul Mondry, who did this job for many, many years. I can't tell you just how flattered I am, so thank you for that. Before we begin our formal introductions, if I may, let's bow our heads and offer a moment of silence and prayer for our dearly departed members, for the men and women in the military, and for all the shut-ins who can't be with us here today. Let's please offer a moment of silence. Thank you. Alrighty, we'd like to start off this evening by introducing the members of the head table here. I'm going to begin introducing on my far left side. It certainly is a pleasure to introduce this first couple. I'd like to introduce our Registrar of Deeds for Hamilton County with offices in Springfield, the very dapper and congenial Mr. Donald Ash, and his date for this evening, the lovely, beautiful, and young Mrs. Mary Gursky. How nice. And Mary was a Citizen of the Year recipient of the past, absolutely. Next we have our 2010 President of the PACC and his lovely wife, Mr. and Mrs. Lenny and Donnie Robbins. Next, I'd like to introduce our 2011 Citizen of the Year recipient and his lovely, charming wife, Mr. and Mrs. Eddie and Jean Szela. And here to my left, my lovely wife, Szela. On the far right side of the table, way down here, we've got the selectman for the town of Ludlow, attorney Mr. Bill Rooney. And next we have our own Ludlow town clerk, the charming and sweet Miss Lori Gibbons, along with Mr. John Cassidy. Welcome aboard. Next we have State Representative Mr. Tom Petrolati and his lovely wife, Kathy, who we are calling Lisa at times today. Ladies and gentlemen, Ludlow PACC newly elected president along with his lovely wife, Mr. and Mrs. John and Lisa Diaz. Back on the left side of the stage, I have to go back to Mary Gursky. Every time someone hands me a note, it has Mary's name on it. They usually say, make sure you mention, and it's this, but Mary is always affiliated with that. So I have to mention, she didn't want me to tell you how old she is. She doesn't really care, but she's worried she may not pick up any men. But Mary is 99 years old. How about that? God bless you, Mary. And she still works. And she works for Don Ash. And he works for her. I'm glad you clarified that. We're going to ask the newly elected officials of the club to come up before the podium, if you will. And while we're getting them organized right here in front of the head table, we're going to see if we can get our Ludlow Town Clerk, Lori Gibbons, to come up to the podium. And at the same time, all the newly elected officials. So we're looking for President John Vitalevi, Vice President Paul McCaubrey, Recording Secretary Kathleen Poole, Financial Secretary Sue Brown, Treasurer Mark Bukowski, Director Kathleen Zielinski, House Committee Carolyn Rogowski, Auditor Priscilla Patel, and Sergeant at Arms Steve Krushevitz. If you would all please come up to the head table, we thank you for that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is a privilege to be here tonight and to join in the celebration to honor Mr. Edward Szela as a Citizen of the Year. My sincere congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I accept the office of the Polish American Citizens Club of Ludlow, Massachusetts. I will perform the duties of this office in accordance with the bylaws of the corporation. I state this before the members of the club, so help me God. Congratulations to the 2011 officers of the Polish American Citizens Club. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Congratulations. Thank you, Lori. Our sincere congratulations and good luck to all the 2011 newly elected officials as well as the incumbent officials of the PACC. And again, thank you, Lori. No question that today is a big day here in the community as we accomplish three things here with our installation banquet here today. Number one, we install the newly elected officials and directors of this club who are now at the helm and upholding the club's constitution and carrying on the traditions. Number two, we'll administer cash scholarships paid out from the Polish club directly into their hands of those worthy young students right here in our community who are overachievers and interested in securing good education, and still they take pride in their Polish roots. And number three, we'll together pay tribute and honor a person who has contributed to perpetuate the goals and objectives within the community and within the Polish American Citizens Club. Those are three very key items that we do each and every year with the banquet and installation. And by doing so, we keep the community strong and vibrant, and we keep the traditions going right here within the Polish community, and that's what this club is all about. We're going to be honoring, in just a moment, we're going to be honoring our Citizen of the Year. That's Ed Szela. Some folks, it's amusing because some folks pronounce his name as Szela, Szela. We say Szela. And his close friends call him Shelly. But we've got much more to come on Eddie, so we're going to kind of save him a little bit. Keep him on the burner for now. On this special evening, we'd also like to acknowledge many folks that are here with us in support of the club. Whether you're a polka person, whether you're a Polish enthusiast, or whether you're a person who's in support of the community, you're here because you want to support the club. And we thank you for that. And we'd certainly like to thank and acknowledge. There are also some others that we'd like to acknowledge, but I'll leave some of them for later in the presentation. I'd like to acknowledge all the police officers, ladies and gentlemen, both men and women, all of our local firefighters, public servants who we could not live without. Thank them and acknowledge them. We'd like to acknowledge the officials and the present members of the Department of Public Works, the Board of Health, the Board of Appeals and the Building Department who are represented here tonight, and also the PACC senior member celebrating 80 years with the Petrolati Club, the very wonderful Mrs. Mary Gursky. You see what I'm saying? And her name comes up on every piece of paper I turn over. That's a beautiful day. We're going to be bringing up the scholarship recipients here in a moment. Thanks to the PACC, these young men and women will have a little bit of a financial cushion with their educational expenses due to some of the revenue produced by the PACC at the annual golf outing. I'm going to bring up John Diaz right now to tell you a little bit about the golf outing, and also we're going to get Mark Vitowski up here to introduce all of our scholarship winners. John?
Thank you, Lenny. Each year we hold our golf outing in normally the last Sunday of August, Westover Golf Course. We had a tough year this year. We had some rain, but the troops came out. We had some great volunteers who sat out there all day and raised money for this cause here tonight. And that's to help the children of our community, of our club, further their education. And we're proud of that. This year we raised in excess of $5,200. So it was a great tournament, probably one of the best fundraising events that we've had in a long time. So I thank all that participate. Look for more to come out and participate. We have run a double shotgun start. We got plenty of room, so it'll be the August 28th coming up this year. Mark, would you come up and please, as we go through the recipients? Mark chairs our scholarship committee. Mark Petolsky is our treasurer of the organization and has been doing this for some time. I don't know if you want to go in front, Mark, or... Okay, what's the date? Or you can take the microphone with it. Look at it, so go for it.
Tonight we have 6 recipients for the scholarship. Carolyn Growski brought a group. She brought to my attention there were some mistakes. So Carolyn, okay, just rip up the checks. They don't need them. A couple of our award winners are obviously in college. They are away at this point in time. So we may go a little out of order here. Jenna Williamson is playing at Bridgewater State in basketball. She is one of the stars of the team, and I'll read the small bio that I have. I couldn't fit her bio in the program because it was 17 pages, so I kind of cut it down to some of the highlights of her career. Jenna graduated from Ludlow High School in 2010. She was a member of the varsity soccer, varsity tennis, varsity basketball teams, and she was also a team captain of all 3. She is now the Ludlow High School all-time leading scorer in basketball for men's and women's, or boys and girls basketball. She was a Western Mass first team selection for Division I in soccer, tennis, and basketball. She made the honor roll in high school all 4 years. She now volunteered at the Crop Walks and the Raise a Hope Cancer Walks. She's volunteered several soccer, basketball, and tennis camps. She's now attending Bridgewater State. Her major is in business management. She plays basketball and tennis for Bridgewater State. She was named Mass, whatever, community college or Mass College's player, rookie tennis star, or first team tennis player of the year as a freshman. She's playing basketball right now at this time, but her parents are Raymond and Karen Williamson of Ludlow, and she's done a fantastic job. Our other recipient that wasn't in attendance is Zachary Petras. He graduated from Ludlow High School in 2009. He was a member of varsity cross country and track and field teams. He was also the captain for 2 years of both teams. He's an honor roll student. He now attends Springfield College, and his major is sports management. He too, as a way, is on, I believe, the ski team for Springfield College. They're up someplace in Maine, having a good time. He's a member of the Dean's List. He has a 3.1 GPA. His parents are Gregory and Deb Petras. His father, Gregory, is here to accept his award. Greg? Wait, we have to take pictures. I'm just going to put your son's name on your camera. Okay, our winners that are here are present tonight. This is a great time for me because these young students, young people here, Szela, I congratulate him, elder statesman here at the club. He turned 55 last week, so he's been here forever. He does a great job with the polka stuff. I always get him every week or every month at the meetings. And once again, I don't want you to get away too easy, Eddie, but are we making any money? He loves it. Our first recipient is Chelsea Ryan. She graduated from Ludlow High School in 2009. She's a member of the National Honor Society. She's also a member of the Spanish Club, the Lions Pride Club, and a member of the track and field teams. She's now attending Union College in New York. She's made the Dean's List with a GPA of 3.3, and she's majoring in political science. Her parents are Steve and Pat Ryan. Her grandparents are Mrs. Peg Ryan and the late District Attorney Matthew Ryan and Mr. and Mrs. Carmen Rochelle of Springfield. Also, Mrs. Rochelle Rose, happy birthday. We're belated, but happy birthday. Chelsea. The next recipient is Anastasia Brucci. She graduated from Ludlow High School in 2009. She was a member of the volleyball team, track and field teams. She was active in the student government and the band. She was a member of the National Honor Society in high school. She's now attending Springfield College, and her major is psychology. Her parents are Louis and Kim Brucci of Ludlow. Anastasia? The next award recipient is Victoria Baines. She graduated from Ludlow High School in 2009, and she was a member of the honor roll for all 4 years. She's now attending Elms College. Her major is early childhood education and a minor in psychology. She's a member of the Dean's List with a 3.5 GPA. Her parents are William and Denise Baines of Ludlow. Carol Rogowski, 4.6. And last but not least, we have Jamie C. Young. She graduated from Holyoke Catholic High School in 2009. She also was a member of the Honor Roll and president of the School Justice League, as well as the student government. She's now attending UMass Amherst. Her major is psychology. She also is on the Dean's List. On her second year, she has a 3.5 GPA. Her parents are James and Deborah Young of Southampton. Jamie? I want to congratulate all our scholarship winners. There were plenty of them around. They do a great job, and this is our future, folks. These are the people that are going to be leading this country. Thank you.
How about another hand for the scholarship recipients for Mark Bukowski, John Martinetti, the PACC. What a nice gesture they do by offering these scholarships. the young ones. Nice thing. We'd like to next bring up to the podium, ladies and gentlemen, the 2010 president of the Polish American Citizens Club. Before we bring up Lenny, I would just like to mention I was here when Lenny received his Citizen of the Year award many years. How many years ago was that? It was longer than that. 5 years ago. I think it was maybe closer to 10, I would guess. I bet, right? So Lenny received the award back then, and when he was up here, he really touched me because he spoke about his involvement in the club and how his father-in-law, his late father-in-law, got him involved. And it was quite a moving story that he mentioned. And he's been involved in the club in office here for 45 years. How about that? 45 years. So our hats off to you, Lenny. Come on up here, would you please? Lenny Robbins, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to speak as the outgoing president as he turns the gavel over to John.
I'd like to thank the club for all the years that I served here and enjoyed every bit of it. I'm still involved with bingo, and hopefully we'll do the best we can to improve the club and make it even better than what it is right now. I thank you very much, and at this time I'd like to turn over the power of authority to John so he can knock people in the head with a gavel. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's an honor. I want to thank all for the support. We elected me as president this for 2011. I look forward to fulfilling the role as president once again and continuing the momentum that was set by our board and our officers in 2010. Moving forward, we've got a lot of plans, improvements, functions that will be coming up, and we're looking for an exciting 2011. And we'll be looking for your support, and we'll be keeping you informed and updated as these events draw closer. If I may, I'd like to call Lenny up. I just had you sit down, but exercise is good. 45 years, 44 of it was taking notes. And those that come to our quarterly meetings, he was the fastest minute reader in recorded history. He could go through the minutes quicker than anybody. You couldn't understand them, but he read them, and he didn't miss a word. This week we had our quarterly meeting, and Carolyn Rogowski was reading the minutes in the absence of Kathy Houle at a planning board meeting. So Carolyn started out and read one, and she was choking. So gasping for air, she turned the mic over to me. I read the second one, and then we had to alternate back and forth over the months and minutes, where Lenny would just continually rattle them off. But anyway, Sonny, I want to thank you for your service, your dedication to the club, and Dottie for the 45 years of putting up with them here at the club. But again, Lenny runs our bingo. He does a great job with that every Wednesday. And thank you very much on behalf of the members and the board. I want to present, this beautiful Vandal clock. Again, for your 45 years of service, Lenny, thank you very much.
I'd like to say thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Alrighty, so we have two speakers, and we're going to bring our first speaker up right now, representing the town of Ludlow as selectmen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Attorney Bill Rooney.
Thank you. Thank you and good evening. On behalf of the Board of Selectmen and the entire town of Ludlow, I'm very honored to be here tonight. I have to say, I'm not sure what it means when I'm at one end of the head table and Mary Gursky's at the other end of the head table, but whatever it means, I guess I'm in good company, so thank you. I have to say I was very nervous driving over here tonight because I know we are honoring Ed Szela for his extraordinary career in polka music and polka dancing. And I thought, what am I going to say? My last name is Rooney. My mother's maiden name is Flynn. I know nothing about polka music, so I was very, very nervous coming in, but I was extremely relieved to see Louis Brucci, Steve Ryan, and Tommy Petrolati, because they know less about polka music than I do. And the president? Actually, I am doing double duty tonight. Senator Gail Canderas cannot be here, although she expresses her congratulations to Ed, and her aide, Aaron Saunders, left on a flight last night. So I'm doing double duty. I was given the citation that was introduced in your honor in the Massachusetts Senate, which says, be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Ed Szela in recognition of being named Citizen of the Year by the Ludlow Polish American Citizens Club, and be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate, introduced by the President of the Senate, Therese Murray, and Senator Gail Canderas on January 29, 2011. So congratulations for that. Also, on behalf of the Board of Selectmen, we introduced a certificate which was unanimously adopted, reading, the Board of Selectmen is honored to present the Certificate of Public Recognition to Edward Szela, recipient of the Citizen of the Year Award from the Polish American Citizens Club. Mr. Szela is a native of Thompsonville, Connecticut. He graduated from the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy, spending 35 years as a registered pharmacist at Bay State Medical Center. As a dedicated member of the Polish American Citizens Club, Mr. Szela retains the position of Dance Committee Chairman and is also on the Board of Directors for the club. He has volunteered at WMUA Amherst during their fundraising drives, organizes bus trips to polka weekends and festivals, and is an active member of the International Polka Association, serving as its Massachusetts director and also organizing their annual benefit dances. Residing in Ludlow, Ed and his wife Jean are the proud parents of two daughters, Susan and Sandra, and enjoy their loving granddaughter, Sophia Mary. His devotion to Polish culture and support of the polka-loving public has made him a deserving recipient of this coveted award. The Board of Selectmen, on behalf of the town of Ludlow and its citizens, takes great pleasure in presenting the Certificate of Recognition to Edward Szela and extends its sincere congratulations and best wishes for continued success in his future endeavors, signed by the members of the Ludlow Board of Selectmen. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Rooney. Our next speaker, once again, a little introduction is needed. He represents the city of Springfield, or I should say the county of Camden, as a registrar of deeds. Folks, our good friend, the very witty and good-looking and handsome. I like to say good things about him because he's such a great guy. How about I hand Mr. Donald Ash, everybody?
Can you hear me? Thank you very much, Lenny, for those kind words. I'd like to thank the Polish American Citizen Club for having me here this evening, and members of the head table, Edward and Jeannie Szela, Selectman Bill Rooney, Laurie Gibbons and guests, President, let's see, where am I here? President Leonard and Dorothy Robbins, past president, President John and Lisa Diaz, and the mayor of Ludlow, and my date for this evening, Mary Gursky. Now, the reason that Mary Gursky chose me to go with her this evening is because she likes to go out with older men. Now, Ed Szela is a pharmacist, and he's been developing a pill over the years. And Mary Gursky has been taking it for the last 60 or 70 years. And he put a prescription pill on everybody's table. And the one with his picture on, I would suggest that you take it. And there'll be no need of you driving your car home, you'll run home. If you don't believe me, ask Mary. You know, we're all complaining about how far does a dollar bill go lately. And it doesn't go very far. I was talking to a fellow the other day who was about 85 years old, a grandfather, and he said to me, when he was a young boy, his mother would send him to the store with $1, and he'd come home with a loaf of bread, a quart of milk, a bag of potatoes, a bag of candy, and a bag of donuts. And he said today he cannot do that for one reason. It's because of all the security cameras. Think about it. In this day and age, we truly value an individual who gives so much of his time and energy to the community. It's very difficult for somebody with a lot of responsibilities, but still finds time to give back to the community. It's individuals like Ed Szela, who sets an example for all of us. He's the kind of person that devotes his time and his energy to help the community to make it a better place for all of us. It's just that commitment that makes Ludlow a better place to live. What would a community be without volunteers? What would the hospitals be without volunteers? What would the schools be without volunteers? And what would this organization, the Polish American Citizen Club, be without volunteers? That's why we thank Ed Szela for all the work that he's done for the community, and it makes Ludlow a fine town to live in and a fine town to work in. Ed, we all thank you very much for your hard work and for your dedication, not only to the community, but for your work in the Polish American, perpetuating your Polish heritage with the polka dancing, and I thank you on behalf of everybody here. I also have a couple of proclamations that I'd like to give to Ed, and one is from the Hampden County Registry of Deeds from me, and it reads as follows. Known by all men that I, Don Lee Ash, by the powers vested in me, as Register of Deeds in the County of Hampden, do hereby testify and affirm that from this day forth, the 29th day of January 2011, will be celebrated in honor of Ed Szela, Polish American Citizen of the Year 2011, and recorded forever after in the Hampden County Registry of Deeds. It witness whereof I cause my seal hereto to be affixed and signed in the name of Don Lee Ash. I also have a proclamation from the Clerk of Courts, Brian Lees, who could not attend this evening because he had to go to a function with his wife at her office. And he had a choice of either coming here or getting divorced or going with his wife. And he chose going with his wife. And his proclamation reads as follows. From Brian Lees offers congratulations to Ed Szela on being named Polish American Citizen Club 2011 Man of the Year. And it is further known that the Massachusetts Superior Court extends its best wishes and continued success and prosperity. Signed, Brian Lees, Clerk of Courts. Again, Ed, thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, God. Just a moment ago, I was mentioning some of the past recipients of the Citizen of the Year, and I omitted to mention Tommy Petrolati. He's such a humble guy, he just kept his mouth shut and stood there and took it on the chin. They left him off the program, and we didn't acknowledge the Citizen of the Year. They left me off the program. It's okay. But our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, what a great guy. Let's have a hand for Szela, Tom Petrolati.
Thank you, Lenny, for that wonderful introduction. I'm glad you read it exactly the way I wrote it. And Don, thanks for omitting me from the head table as far as your introduction. I certainly will remember that budget time when we're looking at the Registry of Deeds' budget. And my good friend and my childhood buddy, Bill Rooney, when he came up and suggested to you that I didn't know how to polka, you just heard I was a Citizen of the Year, and I can hoop by, shoot by with some of the best in Western Massachusetts I ever know. And granted, I learned all my dancing skills from Rick Burkott. And Eddie, I'd like to tell you, when we were driving over, my wife said, "Do you know anything about Eddie?" I said, "Do I know anything about Eddie? I spend 5 days a week with Rick Burkott. How the hell can I know anything about Eddie for crying out loud?" And he told me that he refers to you as the chairman of the board, and sometimes as BOSS. Well, he's worked for me for 25 years, and he's never called me boss, so I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'd like to echo the same sentiments that Don alluded to just moments ago about having people in our community and in our county that continue to educate the next generation of people relative to the rich history of the Polish-American community. And I've been very fortunate to represent the town of Ludlow for the last 25 years and grew up with a Polish mother who understood how important it is to pass on those traditions. I think for so many years we seem to go away from how important that foundation is in the family and how it can transcend into the next generation to making sure that as you move forward, you do so in a positive and a very productive way because of what you've learned from the past. And Eddie continues to do that, whether it's in polka or his participation here at the Polish-American Citizens Club. And that's why that reputation precedes itself, not only here in Ludlow, but throughout Western Massachusetts and out throughout the Commonwealth. So we're very fortunate every year that when I come here, that we recognize somebody, and it never ceases to amaze me, who makes that significant contribution year out and year in, and never looks for those types of recognition. They're very humble, dedicated people who make a significant difference each and every day, and that's why we're so blessed to live here in Ludlow and in Western Massachusetts. Eddie, I had the distinct pleasure this past Tuesday of introducing into the Massachusetts House a citation, if I could just read some of the particulars. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Ed Szela in recognition of being named the 2011 Citizen of the Year by the Polish-American Citizens Club of Ludlow, Massachusetts. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses hope for future good fortune and continued success in all your endeavors, given this the 29th day in the year of our Lord, January 2011, at the State House, by Robert A. DeLeo, Speaker of the House, and offered by Thomas N. Petrolati, State Representative. Congratulations, Eddie.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tom Petrolati. I have to ask, how many of you folks, and it's okay to raise your hand, how many of you are actually not really polka people? And how many are polka people? So we have a lot of polka fans here today. So the reason I ask that is because from time to time when we talk about Ed Szela, we refer to him as Club Szela. And that's something that started, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. Ed used to have parties at his home in Long Meadow. He used to invite all his friends, and we used to have music and food, and we joke and have a lot of fun until the wee hours of the morning. But the reason I mention that is because you're going to be hearing that Club Szela throughout the night among different groups of people, so I wanted to be sure that you knew what we were talking about there for a minute. I remember Eddie Szela. I think the first time I met him was back, oh my gosh, I'm going to say the early 80s or so in Albany, New York at the Polish Community Center. And he's always been a real honest, stand-up type of guy. And it's funny because when I got word that he was receiving the Citizen of the Year award, I spoke with a few of his friends, and they really wanted to lambaste him. I want you to know. Some of your buddies that are in Florida right now because they have condos there, but they really wanted to do a little bit of a roast, and we didn't think that would be, there's so many good things to say about it, why make fun out of him? Just because his wife dresses him and stuff like that. We just didn't think it was right, so we figured we wouldn't say any of those things. But I'd like to bring up another, oh, by the way, Eddie, I had a call from Dennis Polisky and the Maestros, and they send their congratulations. They're playing today at St. Mary's the Ware, and they send their very best to you. Dennis and all the guys at Maestros men. And also Gina, my daughter Gina, and Mike Stepinski called wishing you the best, and my brother Richie and Sue Ellen said they wish you their very best also. I'd like to bring up a gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, who represents the International Polk Association in the Hall of Fame, based in Chicago, Illinois. He's an out-of-state director for the International Polk Association, which we call the IPA. And I'd like to bring him up to the microphone. How about a round of applause for Mr. Freddie K. Kajerski. And Freddie is a Polka Hall of Famer.
Thank you very much, Lenny. Eddie Szela, on behalf of all the officers of the International Polka Association, we would like to congratulate Eddie Szela on being named Citizen of the Year. And we know the time, the effort Ed puts in making the success of all his endeavors for the Polish American Citizens Club and for the International Polka Association and community, and is deserving of this award. And that's from Dave, who should be president of the International Polka Association. Dave couldn't be here today, but Dave says he does have something for you when we have the dance in March. He says it's some type of mechanical device, but he didn't want to reveal the nature of it to me. But he said he will be happy. So we'll have to wait till March to see that. A couple of words I'd like to say to Eddie Szela. I mean, I've known Eddie many, many years, and we share a lot of time together, doing a lot of things for the International Polka Association. And I've known Eddie over 15 years, when he still had a mustache and had dark hair. You know, he still has that dark hair, it's amazing. The guy never changes, all these years I know him, it's always the same. It's actually a little darker this year, right? Yeah, it's from these pills. It is, he takes these things. It is, I tell you. You know, we shared many good times through the years. And I just want to tell you the things that I've done for Ed. I mean, Ed over the years, he hasn't had a chance to get out much to go to a lot of sports games. I did manage to get him a ticket to Giants-Patriots game at Giants Stadium. But then I also got him tickets for his beloved Red Sox at Fenway Park. And that's where he became a big celebrity that night. We're sitting in Fenway Park over there, and we're in view of the camera. Every time the battle went up, the camera would focus on us sitting in the seats. And Eddie's phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing. All his friends recognized him over there. And they're looking, and they kept calling him and asking him, "What are you doing here, Ed?" Because they knew he would never buy a ticket himself. So it was good that I took Eddie to the Red Sox game at Fenway. But then I had the pleasure of Eddie stopping down and see me in Florida last year because he knew I had spring tickets to see the Red Sox at spring training over there. But anyhow, through the years, I just wanted to say, I've been entertained by Ed at many polka events across the country and at Club Szela, which Lenny just mentioned. And to this day, I still get calls on Sunday evenings after the dances in Ludlow, no matter where I am in the country, from Eddie and the crew, wishing me Nazdrovya, drinking a Freddie K special, which I greatly, greatly appreciate. And, you know, and that's why Eddie is so special. He's done so many good things for people over the years, and always goes out of his way at the dances, the festivals, if you're at his home, to make you feel special. For all his contributions, Eddie's been honored as Citizen of the Year. And for all the years I've known Eddie, you've always been the best citizen, the best man, but most of all, a true friend. And that's one thing I appreciate, and obviously all your friends here appreciate, of Eddie Szela. And Eddie, congratulations on this deserving award. Enjoy, my friend.
Thank you, Trevor. I remember, I don't know exactly how long ago it was, I'm going to say maybe 15 or 18 years ago, I had the opportunity of getting an award, and it was actually presented to me by Eddie Szela back then. I think it was in Ohio, I'm pretty sure it was in Ohio, either Ohio or Chicago. Middleburg Heights, that's just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. But Eddie used to like to dress like a lady. He presented me an award. He used to cross-dress a little bit, and his wife broke him out of the head. So now he just takes these pills and he's normal again. You gotta put that on display, so that's a good one. Can you see that? That's the head of your polka dance committee. So. How about that? Oh gosh, that's very funny. Eddie Szela is a great guy, and he certainly is a deserving recipient of this award. And I'll tell you, it's not easy when you're dealing with committees and you're staying in one seat, like heading a committee, like what he does with the polka dances. I really know it's a tough thing. And I can tell you, this club is very lucky to have a devoted person like Eddie. I travel the country with my band. I play all over the place. I play in many Polish clubs, many halls, and little pockets of the country down south and Midwest, just all over. And I can see that the people that support the ethnic organizations are not as aggressive as they used to be in supporting those clubs. Not just the Polish, could be Irish or whomever. But I tell you, we're very lucky here in Ludlow that we've got a devoted guy like Eddie who heads up that dance committee and making sure that people are at the doors each and every Sunday. The bands are booked. He keeps an eye on the forecast. He knows what the weather is happening, and he does what's best for the club and what's best for the people, even though he does time the bands with a stopwatch, which just started last year. He actually, we played here, I think it was in October, November, Halloween. Thanks, Gene. And he warned me before we played here. He said, I just want to warn you, we're friends and everything, but don't take long breaks because some people don't like that. I said, well, I'll keep an eye on it. He says, well, I'll watch it for you, don't worry about it. So it's nice to have good friends that help you manage the band like that on breaks. So God doesn't want no one wants us to take a long break, so thank you, Eddie, for that. He's a good guy. He's very honest, very trustworthy guy, and he's devoted. He's a passionate person about Polish culture and polka music, and we're lucky to have him here in the area doing what he does. I know Eddie's very sensitive toward people's feelings at times. He tries to make everybody happy, and we all know that's a difficult job. But he does his best, and he's always shooting for perfection, and we all thank you for that, Eddie. And I would like to now bring up John Diaz, who is going to present Eddie with his Citizen of the Year Award. So here's all to you, John.
Thank you, Lenny. Eddie, if you would please come up to the podium. If you can walk that far. Those pills, look at him go. Look at him. His legs are moving. I'll never forget the first polka meeting, because as president of the club, you're on all the committees if you want to be, or if they want you to be, obviously, because I walked into the first meeting and Ed got up and walked out, and the whole dance committee followed him. Thank you, buddy. True story. Eddie.
Still love you, though.
Eddie and I are now the best of friends, and we work together, I think, with these dances, and we're looking to continue the polka music here at the club. It's a long-standing tradition, and Eddie's hard work to keep the dances alive here. It's a tough item right now. I mean, a lot of the polka dancers are getting older, to attract the younger ones, and with the cost of fuel and energy, it's tougher to make these bands travel long distances for relatively fair money. So it's getting, you got to quite across the barrier to keep this going, buddy. We commend you for your efforts and your dance committee. Eddie, I'd like to read this plaque. The citizens of the Polish community are deeply touched by your generous efforts and invaluable dedication to promote and perpetuate polka dancing, music and dancing. Through your leadership and hard work ethic, you have set a perfect example whereby your high standards have earned the respect and admiration of your colleagues and the polka organizations of the surrounding area, as well as the International Polka Association. Therefore, we, the Polish American Citizens Club of Ludlow, proudly honor Edward Szela as Citizen of the Year, January 29, 2011, Szela, Polish American Citizens Club, John Diaz, President. Congratulations.
Just to clear up a couple of things. I have a 2-minute speech here, but I was kind of offended when we had one of our meetings upstairs next to the boardroom. I had a whole bunch of hand-picked friends of mine, polka dancing people, and all of a sudden the president, were you president then?
Yes.
He walks in, and I was personally, seriously offended. I said, it's a private meeting, and the damn president shows up. But little did I know that the president is actually a member of every committee. I apologize, John. But don't show up anymore.
To pay him back, I traveled out to Chicago, went to the IPA convention in Rosemont, and totally surprised Eddie when I walked in, and he's like, what the hell are you doing here? So I said, I'm just here for the dance committee meeting. And that's where I met IPA Dave and was introduced to spirituals, Chicago style.
Homemade spirituals. And Mr. Gamolka, that female attire, I think your wife talked me into that. I must have been in a drunken stupor. But Lenny used to have Christmas shows at the Renaissance in Windsor, East Windsor, wherever that is. And Peter Schuda was Santa Claus, and the committee was looking to Santa Baby. Okay? And after they asked several of their good friends, I finally got talked into it. So that's what that came from. So when he is awarded, whatever was a male vocalist or whatever you were in at that time, I was there, dressed in full attire. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Club Szela, for years, we had some good affairs there. At one time, we had enough for like 3 or 4 bands to perform, full bands. About a week before, this van would show up with a trailer behind it, backing into my driveway. It was Lenny Gamolka with his equipment, that dirty stuff he brought into my house. But we used it every year. Thank you very much, Lenny. Also, honored guests, President John Diaz and the officers of the PACC in Ludlow. As most of you know, I have a great love of polka music, which began when I was growing up in Thompsonville, Connecticut. My parents used to take me to the Polish home in Thompsonville whenever they had whenever they had a dance, and it wasn't every week. They were both members of the Polish vets. My dad sold the tickets, I remember, downstairs, and my mom did the coat room upstairs. The dances were on Sundays like 9 to 1, and the places were packed. I had the pleasure of sitting in the corner and doing my homework for Monday. And I also heard some of the best bands in the country at the time. Gene Bishevsky, Al Stoika, Ray Henry, to name a few. As I got older, I attended many local dances where I met some real great people and fantastic musicians. And as we got to know them, I can't tell all the stories that transpired at all those room parties. But while I was at some of these dances, I met my loving wife of 45 years, Jeannie. Together we started traveling to polka festivals across the country. And again, more musicians, more polka people, where we still have a lasting friendship with many of them. When our daughters, Sue and Sandy, were old enough to travel, sometimes they weren't old enough to travel, but we still took them to polka festivals, polka picnics, polka dances, and they got to enjoy the polka music. Again, for the past several years, I've been a director from the state of Massachusetts for the International Polka Association, and being involved in the election of 2 recipients yearly to the Polka Music Hall of Fame, which is located in Chicago. For the past 6 years, Freddie Kay, which was up here a few minutes ago, from New Jersey, he and I run an IPA benefit here at the dance, at the Ludlow PACC, I should say, which the club generously donates the hall. And the bands, there's 3 bands that perform yearly: Lenny Robbins, Chicago Push, Eddie Forman Orchestra, Dennis Polisky. And this year, Dennis will do a tribute to the IPA Hall of Famer Gene Wisniewski. It's supposed to be a 1-hour tribute. These bands all donate their time and services for the love of support of polka music. I have been on the board of directors of this great club for many years, and in trying to keep polka music alive, I was part of the organization of the dance committee, of which I am chairman. I don't know how I got to do that, but I think they were looking for volunteers, and I was the only one that knew something about polka music on the board. A lot of Italians on the board and other nationalities, yeah. And I also have a great bunch of volunteers that serve weekly. I hired a band from far and east, near, so the people of New England can enjoy the great polka music. There's so many people that I would like to thank tonight. First, I would like to thank the Citizen of the Year nominating committee for choosing me and acknowledging my service to Ludlow PACC, President John Diaz and the officers of the club. I would also like to acknowledge all the local DJs who promote polka music and also promote the PACC dances. Could they please stand, please? All the DJs, please. Just to name a few: John Bill, Billy Belina, Mitch Moscow, Carl Zaganitz, Lucy, and Carl Fawcett. And they also have their co-workers with them here today. So thank you too. Oh, Helen Curtin. Sorry, Helen, I didn't see you in the back. That always happens when you start naming people. My wife said, read your notes. You're on here now. I would like to acknowledge the Polka Hall of Famers in attendance today. Could they please stand? There's a little exercise here today. Billy Belina, Freddie Konzerski, Lenny Robbins, Eddie Forman. Any others? I would also like to thank the dance committee for volunteering their services every week and for all their help and dedication to helping me promote polka music. Could you please stand? Dance committee, please. And also, while they're standing, I'd like to thank Jeannie Kukish, who was a regular door person for years, and her friend Charlie Wing. Thank you. Jeannie's here today, and Charlie. I would like to acknowledge and thank my family for being here tonight. My cousins, Helen Micah, Chris, and Kevin Barnes, but Kevin is sick today. And Scott Barnes, who had to leave, he was here earlier. He's associated with the Cleveland Indians. He's playing currently in the minor leagues, AA in Akron. And Helen Micah and myself are first cousins. Stand up, guys. Stand up. Helen's mom and my mom were sisters. So we had a very closely knit family still. I would say what time and still. We've lost a few of them, but we still keep close contact. I'd like to acknowledge Rob's parents here, Mr. and Mrs. Check. I would like to also introduce my daughter, Susan, and her husband, Rob Check, and Sandra, and her husband, Brad Condon, who gave me my first grandchild, Sophia Mary. Stand up, guys. Susan followed in my footsteps and became a registered pharmacist, and Sandra is a chemical engineer and a patent attorney in Boston. Last but not least, I would like to introduce my wife, Jeannie, who has given me her love and support in promoting polka music. I book the bands, she books the trips. She also helps me in many different endeavors behind the scenes. Behind every gentleman, there's a strong woman behind him. It's such a great honor for me to receive the Citizen of the Year Award. And I want to thank all of the people for coming out tonight and celebrating with me. It's truly a polka celebration. Thank you, and Boogs Watch. And now let's go and hear some polka music by the great Eddie Forman Band. But one more thing, one more exercise. Anyone who is sitting here in the audience that has been to a polka dance at the PACC in Ludlow, please stand up. Congratulations. Thank you for the support.
We'll do some polka dancing for a while. Here's the time of the Fiddlers polka. many blessings. Thank you very much.
Yeah. 7 nights without you makes a week of loneliness for me. How I tried to get along without you, but it seems that you meant for me. I like the way you dance with me, my darling. I like the way you hold me in your arms. I just can't forget your tender kisses. I just can't forget your loving charm. Hey, hey! Hey, hey! I like the way you dance with me, my darling. I like the way you hold me in your arms. I just can't forget your tender kisses. I just can't forget your loving charms. 7 days and 7 nights without you makes a week of loneliness for me. How I tried to get along without you, but it seems that you meant for me. Hey, hey! Hey, hey!
On a 7 days and 7 nights without you. Thank you very much. Obetic time.
Szela, Chevrolet.